In the early hours of the morning, before the world awakens, there is a softness in the air that feels almost ancient. The sky, still undecided between darkness and dawn, holds a gentle hush, a moment where everything stands perfectly still, as if waiting for you to breathe. Before we begin, if you care about staying healthy, vibrant, and independent well into your golden years, please consider subscribing to our channel and clicking that little notification bell. We share in-depth, practical health tips that doctors are often too busy to mention, and I don't want you to miss a single one. And I have a quick question for you, one I love to ask. Where are you watching from today? Are you in the United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, or somewhere else entirely? Please drop a comment below and let me know where you're from. It truly brightens my day to see how far this wonderful senior health community of ours reaches. In this quiet space, you begin to notice things that are usually swallowed by the noise of daily life, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the subtle movement of your breath, the way your thoughts rise and fall like small waves on a vast ocean. And in this stillness, a simple but profound question emerges. Why do we accept certain changes in our lives as destiny, when in truth, they might simply be signals, reminders, or calls to awaken? For many people, the first strand of gray hair appears like a whisper of time. Some look at it with fear, others with resignation. Some laugh and call it genetics, while others hide it thinking it marks the beginning of decline. But beneath all these reactions lies a deeper question. Is gray hair truly inevitable? Or have we forgotten to listen to what the body is trying to tell us? Nature shows us that aging is natural, but premature aging is not always fate. A tree that dries too early lacks something in its soil. A flower that wilts before its season is missing nourishment, and when the river becomes shallow long before it reaches the sea, there is always a reason. The human body is no different. It is a living system of energy, minerals, breath, and intention. It does not betray us without warning. It communicates. But we must be quiet enough, aware enough, humble enough to hear it. So today, through the lens of calm reflection and inner understanding, I invite you to explore a possibility that many never consider. What if gray hair, especially when it appears too early, is not merely a sign of age, but a message? A message that there are 3 missing nutrients, 3 forgotten elements of balance that no one has taught you to notice? When we approach this question not with fear, but with curiosity, something shifts. The body becomes a companion, not a burden. Life becomes a dialogue, not a battle, and we begin to reclaim the wisdom that modern noise has made us forget. In order to understand why the body sends us signals, such as premature graying, we must first step away from the surface of things. Most people look only at what they can see: the strand of hair turning silver, the reflection in the mirror, the number of birthdays passed. But real understanding begins beneath the surface, in the deeper landscape where the mind, the body, and the spirit meet. When something changes outwardly, it is because something has shifted inwardly. And so, the true question is not why is my hair turning gray, but what is happening within me that my body is trying to reveal? In traditional teachings, including the wisdom passed down in Shaolin culture, the hair is seen as an extension of the blood, the essence and the life force within the body. Just as leaves on a tree reflect the condition of the roots, the health of your hair reflects the strength of your internal energy reserves. When the hair loses its pigment too early, it is often not a curse, not a punishment, not a genetic trap, but rather a sign that the inner reservoir is being drained faster than it is being replenished. The root is not in the hair, the root is in the imbalance. Why does this imbalance happen? Some people push themselves relentlessly, thinking constant effort is the same as strength. Others carry heavy emotions, worry, resentment, impatience, which quietly exhaust the nervous system. Many live disconnected from nourishment, not only physical nourishment, but emotional, mental, and even spiritual nourishment. It is like trying to run a marathon on an empty tank. The body can only keep up for so long before it signals for help. Gray hair is one of those signals. Imagine a mountain spring. When the water flows steadily, clear and strong, everything around it thrives. But if the source becomes polluted or depleted, the water weakens, the plants fade, and the surrounding life struggles. Yet, we do not blame the plants for turning dull. we go to the source. In the same way, premature graying is not a failure of the hair. It is a message from the source, your internal vitality, asking you to restore what has been lost. There are three missing nutrients that are often overlooked. They are not exotic, mysterious substances found in distant lands. They are not magic pills or instant solutions. They are foundational elements of health that modern habits have slowly stripped away. When these nutrients diminish, the body begins to age faster than the spirit intends. And when we restore them, not only does the hair regain vitality, the mind becomes clearer, the emotions calmer, the energy brighter. To understand these nutrients, we must first recognize that everything in the body is connected. Stress is not just a feeling, it affects hormones. Lack of sleep is not just tiredness, it affects regeneration. Poor breathing is not just discomfort, it affects blood flow and oxygenation. The body does not operate in isolated parts. It functions as a single, unified organism. When one aspect weakens, another compensates, and eventually something gives way. Gray hair often appears at the crossroads where depletion meets adaptation. It is not the problem, it is the signpost. When we see it with humility instead of fear, we can begin the journey back to balance. And the moment we understand the root, we are no longer victims of circumstance. We become students of our own life force, caretakers of our own internal garden. Then let us walk together into the heart of this teaching, into the place where understanding becomes practice and where knowledge is transformed into living experience. Knowing the root is only the beginning. The path is walked through action, gentle action, mindful action, consistent action. And so, part 3 invites you to reconnect with the three missing nutrients, not as concepts, but as daily practices that nourish your inner vitality and restore what has quietly faded. The first nutrient is breath, not simply oxygen, but the quality of your breathing, its depth, its rhythm, its presence. Most people breathe as if they are running from something, even when sitting still. Their breath is shallow, rushed, incomplete. This kind of breathing tells the body that it is in danger. It triggers stress hormones, drains the nervous system, and weakens the blood, which in turn affects the hair's pigmentation. But when you breathe slowly, deeply through the belly, you tell the body that it is safe. Safety opens the door to repair. Long, calm breathing brings oxygen to the cells, strengthens circulation, and restores the vitality that the hair depends on. For a moment, pause with me. Sit comfortably. Allow your shoulders to soften. Place one hand gently on your lower abdomen. Inhale through the nose for 4 slow seconds. Feel the belly rise under your hand. Hold the breath softly for 2 seconds, not with force, but with ease. Then exhale through the nose for 6 seconds, letting the body release tension. Do this for 3 cycles. Feel how the mind becomes quieter, how the body feels heavier, more grounded. This simple breathing practice, done for 5 minutes each morning and 5 minutes each evening, begins to refill the internal reservoir that premature graying often reflects. The second nutrient is minerals. Not supplements, not pills, but the natural minerals found in whole, living foods, especially those that nourish the blood and the nervous system. In Shaolin wisdom, foods rich in iron, magnesium, zinc, and trace elements are believed to support the kidneys and liver, the 2 organs most connected to hair vitality. But beyond the physical nutrients, there is also a deeper nourishment, the discipline of choosing foods that support your life force rather than drain it. When you eat out of stress, boredom, or urgency, the body becomes burdened. When you choose foods with intention, the body feels supported. And when the body feels supported, it regenerates more efficiently. The pigments that color your hair depend on this regeneration. The third nutrient is stillness. Not inactivity, not laziness, but conscious stillness. The kind of silence that reconnects you with yourself. Most people live in constant motion. Even when the body stops, the mind continues running at full speed. This endless inner movement exhausts the reserves that the body uses for repair. Stillness, even in small amounts, allows the nervous system to reset. It lowers stress hormones, calms inflammation, and restores balance to the internal organs. And when the organs are balanced, the hair often begins to regain strength. Stillness is not a spiritual luxury, it is biological medicine. To practice stillness, begin with 2 minutes each day. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and simply observe your breath. Do not force the thoughts away. Let them rise, let them fall, like leaves floating on a stream. Watch them without judgment. The purpose is not to empty the mind. It is to stop fighting with it. When the mind feels less pressure, the body follows, and a deep healing begins from within. As you move through your daily life, at work, in your relationships, in moments of stress, these 3 nutrients can guide your choices. When you feel tension rising, return to your breath. When your energy dips, choose nourishment instead of convenience. When your mind becomes noisy, pause and give yourself a moment of stillness. These practices do not require money, special equipment, or perfect conditions. They require awareness, and awareness is something every human being can cultivate. Think of yourself as a river. The river does not rush to prove its strength. Its power comes from consistency. Breath is the water that keeps the river flowing. Minerals are the stones that shape its path. Stillness is the depth that gives it clarity. When any of these elements weaken, the river becomes shallow. But when all 3 are restored, the river becomes powerful again, steady, calm, and alive. If you are carrying stress from work, use slow breathing before entering a meeting. If you feel emotionally overwhelmed in a relationship, pause and return to stillness before speaking. If your body feels tired, nourish it with foods that strengthen rather than comfort, foods that numb. These small moments, repeated daily, slowly rebuild the internal vitality that hair health and overall health depends on. Before we move on, I invite you into a brief visualization. Close your eyes if you can. Imagine yourself standing beside a clear mountain lake. The surface is perfectly still. The air is cool and fresh. As you breathe in, imagine drawing in the purity of the mountain air. As you exhale, imagine releasing the burdens you have been carrying. With each breath, the lake becomes clearer. With each breath, your mind becomes quieter. This lake is your inner world. When it is calm, the body begins to heal. These 3 nutrients, breath, minerals, and stillness, form the path back to balanced vitality. And when practiced consistently, they do far more than support your hair. They strengthen your presence, your clarity, your emotional resilience. They help you return to your natural rhythm, a rhythm that modern life often disrupts but never fully erases. As we move forward, it is important to acknowledge that every path toward renewal is met with challenges. No transformation unfolds in a straight, perfect line. Even when the teachings are simple, the mind often complicates them. Even when the practices are gentle, the ego resists. And so, part 4 is about the obstacles that quietly pull us away from balance, the mistakes that so many people repeat, not out of ignorance, but out of habit. One of the first challenges is impatience. Modern life has trained us to expect quick results. We want immediate changes, fast improvements, instant solutions. But the body does not operate on the timeline of our impatience. It responds to consistency, not urgency. Many people begin practicing deeper breathing, better nourishment and stillness, but when they do not see visible changes within days or weeks, they lose faith. They forget that the body has been carrying stress, depletion, or imbalance for months, sometimes years. It takes time to refill an empty well. When you become impatient, you send tension back into the system, and tension is the very thing you are trying to release. Another challenge is pride. Pride says, I already know this. Pride says, I don't need to slow down. Pride keeps you stuck in old patterns because it refuses to learn like a beginner. Yet every true path requires the humility to see yourself clearly. Many people ignore the body's early signals because pride tells them they are stronger than their exhaustion, more disciplined than their stress, more invincible than their lifestyle. But eventually, the body speaks louder. Through fatigue, through tension, through premature aging. When pride softens into humility, change becomes possible. There is also the challenge of comparison. People look at others, their friends, their co-workers, strangers online, and measure themselves against them. Why am I aging faster than they are? Why is my hair graying when theirs is not? This comparison creates unnecessary pressure. It ignores the truth that every person carries different burdens, different histories, different levels of internal resilience. A tree growing in the shade cannot compare itself to a tree growing in full sunlight. Each grows according to its environment, its soil, its roots. In the same way, your journey is your own. Comparison only steals the energy you need for healing. Another common mistake is inconsistency. People start strong but fade quickly. They breathe deeply for a week, then forget. They choose nourishing foods for a few days, then fall back into old habits. They sit in stillness once or twice, then stop because the mind feels restless. But restlessness is not a sign to quit. It is the first layer of noise rising to the surface. If you continue, the noise fades. If you stop, the noise grows. In Shaolin practice, the masters say, 3 days of training is easy, 3 years is hard, but a lifetime is natural. The goal is not intensity, the goal is continuity. Some people also fall into the trap of over-effort. They try too hard, push too hard, practice with tension instead of ease. They want results so badly that the practice itself becomes stressful. But true nourishment cannot grow in forcefulness. Breath must be gentle, stillness must be welcoming, nutrition must feel supportive. When effort becomes pressure, the body tightens and healing slows. Finally, there is the challenge of doubt. Doubt whispers, is this really working? Can I really change something like graying hair? But doubt is simply the mind's fear of disappointment. It protects you from hoping. Yet without hope, the body has no direction. Without belief, the mind has no clarity. And without clarity, the path becomes foggy. Doubt is normal, but it must not become the master of your choices. Walk the path even when you cannot yet see the destination. These challenges are not failures. They are part of the journey. Every student, every practitioner, every human being encounters them. What matters is not avoiding them, but recognizing them with honesty and returning gently to the path. When you fall off the rhythm, you simply return. When the mind becomes noisy, you return. When you slip into old habits, you return. This is how transformation happens, through returning again and again with patience and compassion. Then let us continue and step into the quiet power of transformation, the stage where practice begins to shape the inner landscape, where small daily actions accumulate into something meaningful, and where the body responds not with force but with gratitude. Part 5 is about the wisdom that emerges only after you have walked through understanding, practice, and challenge. It is about the moment when you begin to feel a shift, subtle, gentle, but undeniably real. Transformation does not arrive like a storm. It comes like sunrise. At first, the sky remains dark, unchanged. Then slowly, a soft glow begins to spread at the horizon. You may not even notice it at first, but moment by moment, the darkness fades, the colors open, and the world becomes illuminated. Healing is the same. The breath becomes calmer, the mind steadier, the body lighter. The hair, which for so long signaled imbalance, begins to reflect the return of vitality. The wisdom behind this transformation lies in consistency, not perfection, not intensity, but small, steady steps repeated with sincerity. Breath practiced daily becomes a medicine the body trusts. Stillness practiced gently becomes a sanctuary the mind returns to. Nourishment chosen consciously becomes fuel that supports deeper restoration. These acts feed your inner fire, the same fire that keeps your organs strong, your blood nourished, and your hair vibrant. In Shaolin teachings, there is an old saying, "Water carves stone, not through power, but through persistence." This is the essence of transformation. When you adopt practices that nourish your life force, you become like water. At first soft, yielding, humble, but over time, that softness becomes strength. The stress that once hardened your body begins to dissolve. The fatigue that once dimmed your energy begins to lift. And the premature signs of aging that once felt inevitable begin to slow, sometimes even reverse. Think of bamboo. In its early stages, it grows slowly, almost invisibly. For a long time, nothing seems to change. But beneath the surface, its roots are spreading, strengthening, anchoring. And then suddenly, when the foundation is ready, the bamboo rises rapidly, straight and resilient. Your transformation follows the same pattern. In the beginning, the changes may be quiet, subtle, but each breath, each moment of stillness, each intentional choice strengthens your foundation. And one day, you look in the mirror, not just at your hair, but at your eyes, your posture, your presence, and you feel the difference. Another wisdom of transformation is returning to alignment. Stress pulls you off balance. Doubt pulls you off balance. Old habits pull you off balance. But transformation is not about avoiding imbalance. It is about recognizing it quickly and returning with ease. When you return again and again, the body learns that it is supported. It repairs faster. It holds onto harmony longer. This is how inner vitality becomes outer radiance. Imagine standing at the edge of a quiet lake again. At first, the surface is disturbed by wind, by fallen leaves, by ripples. But when the wind stops, even for a moment, the water slowly returns to stillness. This stillness is not forced. It is its natural state. In the same way, your natural state is not stress, nor premature aging, nor depletion. Your natural state is balance. The moment you create the conditions for balance, the body begins to return to it. The transformation also extends beyond the physical. When your breath deepens, your patience grows. When your mind quiets, your clarity increases. When your body feels supported, your confidence strengthens. You communicate with more kindness. You make decisions with more ease. You carry yourself with more presence. These inner qualities shift your entire life, not just your health. And this is perhaps the greatest wisdom of all. When the inside changes, the outside follows. Gray hair, fatigue, tension, these are not enemies. They are teachers. And when you learn the lesson they offer, the body responds with renewal. The pigments in your hair are not simply chemicals. They are expressions of your internal vitality. When that vitality grows, the hair often reflects it. Transformation does not require you to become someone new. It asks you to return to who you truly are. Someone balanced, someone aware, someone connected to their breath, their choices, and their inner stillness. When you embody this, the changes around you feel natural, not forced. As we reach this final part of our journey together, I invite you once more into a space of quiet reflection. Let the mind soften. Let the breath slow. Allow yourself to absorb the teachings not as ideas, but as companions, gentle guides that you can carry with you long after this video ends. Transformation begins with awareness, but it becomes real through practice. And so, this closing section is both a reflection and a challenge, a reminder that your path continues from this moment forward. If you wish to support your vitality, your hair, your energy, your presence, I offer you a simple challenge for the next 7 days. Each morning, before the world pulls you into movement, sit for 10 minutes in silence, 5 minutes for breathing, 5 minutes for stillness. During the first 5 minutes, inhale slowly through the nose, feeling the belly rise, and exhale gently, allowing the body to soften. During the next 5 minutes, simply observe. Notice the thoughts without chasing them. Notice the sensations without reacting. This small ritual begins to refill what life has drained. It tells your body, I am here, I am listening, I am caring for you. Alongside this, choose one moment each day to nourish yourself with intention. Not a perfect diet, not strict rules, but one conscious choice, a mineral-rich food, a glass of clean water, a lighter meal prepared with care. These small acts create momentum. They remind the body that it is supported, and in return, the body supports you more deeply. If you practice even these 2 simple habits for 1 week, you will begin to notice subtle changes. A calmer mind, a steadier breath, a lighter emotional load. And if you continue for longer, weeks, months, these changes grow roots. They influence your energy, your resilience, your appearance. This is how balance returns, not through force, but through devotion. As you reflect on everything we have explored, the root of imbalance, the 3 missing nutrients, the challenges, the transformation, I hope you see that the most powerful medicine available to you has always been within you, your breath, your awareness, your choices. These are not small things. They shape the flow of your life force. They shape the health of your organs. And yes, they influence the vitality of your hair. So as you move forward, carry this wisdom gently. Let it guide you, not as a strict rule, but as a quiet reminder that you are capable of renewal. You are capable of balance, and you are capable of walking your path with patience and presence. If this message has brought you clarity or peace, I invite you to reflect on it again in the days to come. And if you feel inspired, share this teaching with someone who may need it. Subscribe if you wish to continue this journey of self-mastery, stillness, and inner strength. Together, we can build a community grounded in awareness, balance, and compassion. For now, take one deep breath with me. Inhale and exhale slowly. Let this be your closing. A quiet moment of gratitude for your body, for your journey, and for your willingness to grow. Thank you for being here. Let us meet again in stillness.